Every great D&D campaign is built on quests, but far too often we lump them all together like they're interchangeable fetch tasks. The truth is, quests come in many flavours, from battling monsters in a dark forest to rescuing an ally from bandits or negotiating with rival factions. Each one brings a different challenge to the table, tests players in unique ways, and offers distinct storytelling potential. When you understand how many types of quests there are and what they each do, you gain control over pacing, tone, and player engagement. You can mix combat-heavy action with exploration, sprinkle in intrigue, or weave moments of quiet diplomacy. And when you combine quest types, that complexity amplifies. A simple delivery mission can twist into a rescue, or an investigation can spiral into a siege. In this video, we'll explore 10 foundational quest types, share vivid examples for each, and discover how mixing them can elevate your game. By the end, you'll have a toolkit for crafting adventures that feel fresh, surprising, and deeply meaningful, one quest at a time. Hi everyone, it's Jamie, and fetch quests are often underestimated, but they're powerful tools for enriching your world and pacing your story. Instead of just bring me X, think about how the items themselves hold narrative weight. The party could be tasked with gathering moonlit nightbloom petals, a rare herb that only opens under the full moon and glows in the darkness. It's not just a plant, it's a story clue waiting to be uncovered. The air turns cold as the moon rises, and the forest floor shimmers with silvery light, revealing the blooms. But they didn't grow in peace. A guardian spirit materializes, challenging anyone who dares pick these flowers. Now, the simple act of gathering becomes an encounter, part combat, part puzzle, and all atmosphere. Maybe the herb helps cure a spreading plague, or a local alchemist needs it to complete a healing ritual tied to festival lore. That's the core of a good fetch quest, discovering that the world has stakes and lives beyond you. It's exploration, with optional combat, social interaction, or puzzles with clever solutions. Maybe the players can pacify the spirit with an offering rather than drawing swords. A classic design structure, go out, get it and come back, works, but what makes it memorable is detail. Does the glow fade after midnight? Does the guardian judge your motives? Maybe rival collectors want the herb for a darker purpose. These send the players toward a deeper world, weaving a small quest into the larger tapestry of your campaign. Fetch quests don't always have to be high stakes. They can serve as moments of calm, weaving lore and setting flavour between tense scenes. But with a little creativity and care, they can become moments your players remember long after the petals are picked. Delivery quests don't just move an item from point A to point B. They create tension through a journey that matters. Imagine being asked to sneak a sealed letter out of a besieged city, riding through checkpoints with enemies closing in. Or picture escorting a fragile artifact across war-torn countryside, hoping it doesn't crack or fall into the wrong hands. In these quests, pressure comes not only from the terrain, but from time itself. An urgent message to prevent a war. A prophecy must be delivered at the next full moon. Each mile carries weight. The journey becomes the story. For example, the party is hired by a resistance cell to deliver a coded message to the capital. They have to cross 3 distinct regions, an abandoned battlefield haunted by restless spirits, a narrow mountain pass where bandits wait in ambush, and a flood-swollen river that must be navigated before dawn. Along the way, rival couriers might intercept them, or the artifact might begin reacting to the moonlight, revealing hidden runes that attract hunters. The focus then shifts from the final destination to each step. Who they meet, what decisions they make, and how quickly they can act before the letter becomes worthless. This approach turns a delivery into a winding challenge with pacing, stakes, and exploration wrapped into one mission. And along the way, you add world flavour, bandit warlords, political tension, strange mechanical side effects, all tied back to the central item being delivered. Delivery quests are perfect when you want to give players purposeful travel, structured obstacles, and meaningful choices. They're more than errands, they're stories in motion. Protecting someone in D&D can be more than a side mission. In fact, it can be emotional storytelling on the road. You're not just delivering a box, you're guarding a fragile being whose survival means something. Maybe your party has volunteered to escort Lady Anwen, the teenage heir of a threatened duchy, through a forest beset by outlaws. On the first night, she struggles to keep pace, nervously whispering about her missing retinue. The fighter hands her their cloak and promises it's okay to lean on them. The next morning, tracks appear, a combination of wolfish paw prints and humanoid footprints. By midday, bandits emerge from the undergrowth, eyeing the party and Anwen with obvious ill intent. It's not just about defeating foes. You're watching every front line stepping between the emerging danger and Anwen's frail figure. Her heart pounds. Your swords clash, and every decision, defend or flee, negotiate or fight, issues an emotional echo. Survival isn't just about hit points. It's about safeguarding, hope, and trust. The key here is that your escort NPCs have to feel real. They need quirks, competence, and stakes of their own. They shouldn't just be cannon fodder. A character who shrieks at every twig won't deepen engagement, but an NPC who offers healing herbs mid-fight, shares stories of home, or rallies the party with a brave gesture, that's the kind of emotional stake that anchors the combat in hearts, not just mechanics. Escort quests shine when combat, travel, and emotion intertwine. The party doesn't just win, they protect. And if Anwen survives, that pendant she carries can spark a future alliance, a revelation in the capital, even the dawn of a new political era. Destroy quests have always been compelling, not just because monsters die, but because the target matters. It's one thing to slay rats in a cellar, it's quite another to throw a ring into Mount Doom. Whilst killing monsters absolutely does fall into the category of Destroy Quest, it is worth noting that it is not the only category that fits. A Destroy Quest can involve the destruction of anything you can think of. Imagine your party is tracking a corrupted werewolf, once a respected knight, Subaltern, and now a monster terrorizing the countryside every full moon. One of the PCs, Subaltern's own grandson, is desperate to end the curse without killing what's left of the man he once knew. This shifts the quest from generic monster killing to a deeply personal reckoning, but the objective remains the same: get rid of the werewolf. The party starts by following torn fields and broken fences, picking up Bolden's trail through moonlit forests. They talk with villagers who recall his noble deeds and now cower at the mention of Sir Bolden's name. The hunt becomes more than combat. It's about tracing the betrayal of his humanity, maybe even finding a cure. When the final confrontation arrives beneath a crimson moon in a ruined chapel, tension reaches its peak. The party can fight or attempt a ritual, forced to choose between mercy or vengeance. That can be the power of a Destroy quest with emotional weight. Emotional ties are what makes these quests impactful, not just tallying creatures vanquished. If we treat such foes as characters and not just stat blocks, giving them motives and tying them into the world, the impact is only amplified. When the climax arrives, it's catharsis. The party isn't just celebrating XP, they're grappling with consequences. Was the hunt worth it? Could they have found redemption instead of taking life? And whether Subaltern is restored or slain, the choice echoes back throughout the story, leaving players with memories, not just loot. Investigate quests are an invitation to become detectives in your own fantasy story. These quests centre on mystery, uncovering hidden truths, collecting clues, deciphering riddles. Think of a missing noble and whispers speaking of dark magic behind his disappearance. The party arrives at the Lord's Manor. A cold breeze greets them inside. A shattered statuette lies by the threshold. Burn marks stain the walls, and a torn piece of parchment drifts from the fireplace, its ink half burnt. Each detail is a clue. It's up to the party to say whether they see significance in that tatty paper or dismiss it as chance. As they speak with servants, the clues accumulate. A nervous footman mentions a hidden crypt. The town healer hides her bruised hands, and a scholar recalls runes used in forbidden rituals. But investigation isn't just gathering notes, it's solving puzzles. It's good practice to prepare multiple ways for players to find core clues, some obvious, some rewarding clever thinking, to keep the investigation flowing even if the dice don't cooperate. By the time the party ventures into the crypt's flickering passage with hollow echoes and rune-carved stones, they're piecing together the Lord's fate. Clues point in different directions, but all lead deeper into the same truth. Maybe there are multiple suspects, each with a motive. The clue path splits, crisscrosses, and brings the players closer, without forcing them down a single lane. A common approach involves creating a web of clues, providing multiple overlapping hints so no single missed clue halts the story. In these quests, it's important to not let dice rolls gate the story, but instead to give clues freely and let insight reveal the connections. At the climax, they confront the culprit deep within the crypt, magic crackling, pressurized tension, and finally piece together who did it and why. That moment of revelation when all the clues click into place feels earned. It's not about who hits hardest, it's about who thinks hardest, who pays attention, and who connects the dots. Investigate quests reward creativity, patience, and curiosity. They may be quieter than combat, but the payoff when the mystery is cracked is just as explosive. Not every conflict is solved by steel. Some require words, carefully shaped and deliberately delivered. Negotiation quests ask players to broker peace, persuade wary factions, or forge uneasy alliances with rivals. They're not about combat, they're about relationship stakes and social acuity. Imagine the party arrives at a rocky border where two rival clans are on the brink of war. The chieftains glare across a no-man's land crowded with tents. The party's task isn't to fight, it's to negotiate. If they fail, dozens will die at dawn. They're walking into a tense council armed with little more than charm and evidence, maybe news of raided caravans or promises of trade routes. Every word could shift the balance. In these moments, the environment is the negotiation itself. Who you talk to, how you present evidence, and when you make your appeal matters more than dice. The diplomacy tool in their arsenal, it's powerful, but it's not automatic. A successful insight check can reveal hidden motivations. A persuasion check can sway a chieftain's decision, but if they botch it or come across as arrogant, you might push them to war instead. Designing a high-stakes diplomacy scenario means thinking in layers. Set a clear goal, whether that's halt the raid, free hostages, or deter an attack. Populate it with NPCs who have their own beliefs and agendas, and give players real leverage, information, favors, or status. With clear incentives and the possibility of non-violent wins, your players feel empowered to talk, not slay. Perhaps your party leans on personal ties, a friendly envoy who saw them save children, or a minor noble impressed with their past deeds. You may have to offer trade, land, or promises of protection. Or you spin the balance by letting bandits threaten both clans, giving your party the leverage to broker unity. Diplomacy quests aren't easier, they can be much more intense because nothing is resolved with a swing. The emotional stakes, betrayals, and shifting loyalties often linger far longer than a physical wound. combat. They challenge your ability to persuade, empathize, and strategize in words, not weapons. By treating conversation as its own form of battlefield, diplomacy quests can become some of the most memorable moments in a campaign, not for the clash of swords, but the weight of words. Explore quests are adventures in their purest form, sending players into the unknown with little more than curiosity and courage. Whether they're mapping uncharted caves, surveying ancient ruins, or setting foot on a remote island, these quests let your group shape the world itself. Picture this. Your party lands on a deserted island rumoured to hold prehistoric secrets. Armed with a blank parchment and ink, they set out to map the dense jungle, hidden groves, and long-forgotten shrines. Each drawing, each coastline, they decide which rivers to follow, which peaks to climb, and whether to make camp near fresh water or explore further inland. These quests start simple but grow rich with discovery. Your players might encounter buried statues overgrown with vines, bones of unknown beasts, or patterns carved into stone that whisper of an elder civilization. As they map the terrain, they also build story. One might notice a faint trail of broken pottery leading to a hidden temple. Another might spot a massive claw mark on a tree. That sense of charting something new, something alive and changeable, builds wonder and investment like few other quests do. For these, it's definitely worth exploring the hex crawl format, dividing lands into bite-sized regions to explore, each with its own flavour, challenge, and story hook. As your players move hex by hex, they shape what exists on the map and decide which hidden mysteries to follow. Mapping is more than cartography, it is storytelling. Did they mark a dangerous marsh and avoid it later? Will they return to investigate a newly discovered shrine? With Explore quests, combat and puzzles emerge organically from the world rather than being the goal. It's about curiosity leading to consequence, and every line drawn on the map revealing more of your story. Survival quests strip everything back to basics. They thrust your party into environments where mere existence becomes the adventure. These aren't about clever treasure finds or monster fights. They're about battling the wilderness itself. Imagine being dropped into a barren tundra with limited supplies and a ticking clock. Each day, your characters must make survival decisions. Do they hunt for small game, ration their water, or shelter from a sudden ice storm? Every failure chips away at them. Exhaustion sets in, and wounds that would normally be easy to heal start to fester. The party might be marooned after their ship wrecks on a frigid shore. They must forage for edible mushrooms in a rotting log grove. Dangerous because some are poisonous. They spot seabird nests high on cliff faces, but retrieving eggs requires perilous climbs. And after every step, their supplies shrink while weather grows more severe. These scenarios force players into agonizing choices, pushing forward or risking rest, hunting or conserving food. Survival quests aren't just obstacles, they demand creativity and resourcefulness. A clever ranger might use survival to predict incoming weather and avoid storms. And if they've prepared spell scrolls to purify food or water, those become game-changing lifelines. The result is a gritty, visceral tension that lasts longer than any single combat. These quests challenge players in their stamina, planning, and ingenuity. They test not just what your characters can do, but what they can endure. Heist quests are high-stakes, high-tension affairs where the goal isn't just to get in, but to get in undetected, steal something valuable, and then slip away before the alarms ring. These missions rely on stealth, ingenuity, teamwork, and an eye for detail. Maybe night has fallen over the Grand Mage's tower. The target is a stolen phylactery rumoured to be hidden in a locked vault deep beneath arcane wards. The party begins by gathering rumours in a hush-toned tavern, lining the tower's patrol routines and entrance points. They scout a side window suspended over a courtyard fountain and spot the guards' paths. When they break in, it's not combat yet, it's a game of hush and shadows. A rogue carefully picks the vault door while a wizard mutes steps with a silence spell. Maybe they pause when unintended footsteps echo in the hall, hearts hammering. One misstep could set off lightning traps or alert patrolling guards. There are generally 4 stages to a heist quests: casing the place, planning under pressure, executing with improvisations and complications, and then escaping with the goods. Never make brute force the obvious solution. If players charge in, ensure well-prepared defences punish that choice. Early players might storm a guard post and wake the whole tower. Instead, allow creativity. Maybe the druid wild shapes into a rat and scurries through tunnels to unlock hidden passages, or the bard convinces a drunken servant to grant the party access. There's a chance the players will even employ distractions, having the fighter wildly crash down some stairs to lure guards while the rest slip by. By the time the players reach the vault, complications have piled up. Maybe a magical alarm. Maybe the phylactery is gone, swapped out by a rival party. Now the job isn't just theft, it's unraveling what happened under pressure. Escape becomes its own tense puzzle. Can they flee before the tower floods with guards? These quests are collaborative by design. Success means outsmarting the architecture, outthinking patrols, and watching each other's backs. You build anticipation not around attack rolls, but around each step and breath. And when they slip out victorious, silent shadows carrying their prize, it's one of the most satisfying highs a game can have. When you pitch your party against wave after wave of attackers, you're not just throwing monsters at them, you're forging a story of endurance, unity. Picture a once peaceful town, its gates battered, villagers cowering behind tastily built barricades as gnolls or orcs swarm the walls. Your mission isn't a simple skirmish, it's a test of leadership, strategy, and courage under pressure. In these quests, time is a relentless enemy. Combat isn't just about victory, it's about survival. You and the townsfolk must hold the line until reinforcements arrive, then scout sabotage attempts, plug breaches, and reorganize defenses on the fly. It's sensible to treat each wave as a self-contained mini-encounter. Guide the party through a failed breach at the east wall, then rally to defend the gatehouse so the chaos never overwhelms them, even as they feel the full weight of the siege. Imagine them at the town's gate, arrows darkening the sky, villagers hiding behind shields, and your party positioned where defense counts. They might divert a sapping team undermining the wall, rescue civilians trapped in burning buildings, or face down the enemy's commander leading the assault. Each decision matters. Do you send your rogue's quick party to seal the breach, or hold the line and risk more damage to the town? Give the players real choices. Save a key civilian at the cost of delay, or risk the gate for the sake of a precious artifact. These moral crossroads create emotional stakes that linger long after the session ends. Beyond the waves, the tension builds thanks to resource management, ammo runs, healing decisions, and leadership moments that define characters. Your fighter becomes a bulwark, your healer becomes the town's heartbeat. When the final wave breaks and they stand bloodied but unbroken, that sense of triumph echoes across your campaign. Siege quests combine combat, strategy, and story in a crucible of pressure and purpose. And when the dust settles, surviving a siege becomes more than victory. It becomes legend. The most powerful adventures aren't confined to a single quest style. They evolve. What starts as a gentle investigation can spiral into a desperate rescue. An escort mission may suddenly erupt into an all-out combat, and an exploratory jaunt through ancient ruins might conclude with a heart-pounding heist. Maybe your party uncovers hints of dark cult activity, odd inscriptions, meetings at dusk, whispers of missing citizens. As they follow the clues, they find a hidden lair where instead of empty halls, innocent bystanders are locked away. The investigation seamlessly shifts into a rescue operation, and saving those people becomes a ticking clock, echoing every discovery they made. Or picture an escort quest. The party is guiding a dignitary through rugged terrain, planning every step carefully, negotiating safe passage. But midway through, assassins descend, transforming your mission into a desperate fight, a destroy quest born from betrayal, with the stakes more personal than ever. Then there's exploring a lost temple, studying weathered murals and mapping silent halls. But once you realise the relic you seek is locked in a magically sealed vault, the tone changes. Your expedition becomes a calculated heist, demanding stealth, cunning, and flawless execution. These quest shifts keep players alert and invested, because today's diplomacy may require tomorrow's sword, or yesterday's map leads to tonight's shadows. A blended structure gives players freedom, surprises them with new challenges, and keeps the adventure feeling alive and unpredictable. It's the narrative equivalent of switching instruments mid-song. Unexpected, dynamic, and unforgettable. Hybrid quest chains show that blending structured story threads with non-linear options offers a driving narrative with room for player agency, striking a balance between story direction and freedom. Meanwhile, mixing quest types keeps the experience fresh, starting with diplomacy, moving into stealth or investigation, then climaxing in combat or rescue. In the end, merging quests encourages creativity and adaptability. It's not just what players do, it's how they respond when the story refuses to stay in one lane. We've journeyed through 10 distinct quest types, from the simplicity of fetch to the intensity of siege, each offering its own tempo, challenges, and narrative possibilities. Whether you're gathering moonlit herbs or bartering a piece in a tense parley, each quest type brings something unique to your campaign. When considered in isolation, they serve specific purposes, but when thoughtfully intertwined, they form a rich mosaic that can carry an entire story arc. In your next session, try blending two types for deeper engagement. Picture an infiltration that turns into a rescue, or a delivery quest that escalates into a desperate fight as enemies close in. These hybrid quests don't just follow a script, they demand creativity, adaptability, and reward player agency, all qualities that make quests feel alive and unforgettable. Designing engaging adventures isn't just about mechanics, it's about creating emotional experiences through structure, choice, and tone. Forging compelling quests is an art, one that balances narrative, player engagement, and solid design fundamentals. And when your quests build upon one another in chained successions, like uncovering a mystery that leads to a dramatic climax, you craft an experience that plays more like an epic saga than a series of standalone missions. So now I'd love to hear your thoughts. Which type of quest will you be running next? If this video resonated with you, please join the Discord, link in the description below, and whilst you're down there, please like the video, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more deep dives like this. And until next time, may your quests be epic.